From the first day, I could discern right from wrong as a child. I always observed that there was everything wrong with being a Christian, especially in this part of the world. Christians were subject to persecution of all sorts, to be tortured, kidnapped, beaten, imprisoned, spitted on, stigmatized, and even killed was synonymous to being Christian. When anything goes wrong, a Christian must be blamed for it. The blame wasn't so much because the crime was committed by the Christian, but because someone needed to take responsibility and punishment for every wrongdoing. So, for instance, I've had to see Fahad's father stripped from the waist down to be flogged in broad daylight at the market square. It was later to be rumored that he was reported to the law enforcement office of the Islamic Republic of Iran in our town for trying to talk to a beggar who came begging in his house about Christ. The other day, it was Ira's uncle, who we were told was shot out of the office and offered a letter terminating his appointment with the Tejarat Bank in West Azerbaijan province, Umia. His crime? He was seen carrying a Bible in office. My family wasn't the only Christians in Krioi, a well-laid-out city with several cool streams in the northern western Iran. The area surrounding the city consists of a well-drained plain, which is usually cultivated by irrigation to produce agricultural products like cereals and fruits. Previously well fortified, the city boasts of a number of mosques, dotting the entire landscape, and it wasn't always hard to hear a call to prayer from any of the mosques. To live out the Christian faith in public was a suicide move. We met for fellowship in Mr. Hashim's house every Friday during the Jumat prayers. I would later discover that Christians in most parts of the world met for worship on Sundays instead. But we had to keep to Fridays so as not to attract unnecessary attention to ourselves whenever we were going for fellowship, since that was also the time when Muslims go to the mosque. I was 12 years old when my mom ran into our room one hot afternoon. It was a stand rule that we observed our siesta every weekday, after school between the hours of 2 and 3 p.m. After a lunch of koloche, a Persian cookie made from flour, butter, walnuts, and sugar, and dough, a chilled, fizzy, and savory yogurt-based drink popular in Iran. We had forced ourselves to take a nap, me and my brother, Bajan. We were startled when she came in breathless. Quick, quick, get up. I could see that she was trying to keep from crying in our presence. She had this frightened look, an omen of danger. We have to leave immediately, she blurted. This was no time for questions, and we knew all that. It was when we got out, after putting on our clothes, that we understood why my mother was all panicky. There was confusion everywhere. My father was in the yard trying to start his motorcycle. Clutched under my mother's arms was her Bible. She and her Bible were both inseparable. When we got to the front gate and looked outside, I let out a gasp at the sight of Mr. Hashim's house going up in smoke from a distance. Then from nowhere, they appeared. Men clutching clubs, daggers, sticks, and machetes. Almost instinctively, me and my brother, turned back to run towards the little door behind the house, but I felt a heavy hand grab me. While I was writing under the pain of the big, strong hands that held me, I heard my father let out a loud scream. Then a blow followed. I screamed. By now, I couldn't see my mother and brother. They must have escaped, so I thought. A slap landed on my face and drew blood from my mouth. It tasted bitter. All of a sudden, one of the men hit my father at the back of the neck with his machetes. The man that hit him was young, so young that he could easily pass for a boy, except for a sharp wince. No sound came from him as he fell to the ground with a thud.